I was sitting in our bedroom folding laundry when I noticed James's iPad still sitting on the nightstand plugged into the charger he had left for work 2 hours ago. And he always took that iPad everywhere. It was basically an extension of his arm. I picked it up, thinking I would text him that. He forgot it, and that's when I saw it. The Find My app was still open on the screen, and there blinking on the map was James's location, a little blue dot that made my blood run cold. Because that blue dot wasn't at his office downtown, where he said he would be working late on the Henderson project. That blue dot was 3 miles away in the suburbs at 2847 Maple Drive. My sister Lisa's address, my hands started shaking so badly I almost dropped. The iPad, my husband of 12 years, the father of my 2 children, the man who had kissed me goodbye just this morning and said, "I'll be home late. Honey, big deadline tonight," was at my sister's house, and he had no idea I could see exactly where. My name is Monica Richardson. I'm 38 years old, and until that moment staring at that blinking blue dot, I thought I had a pretty good handle on my life. I was wrong, so completely devastatingly wrong. Let me back up because you need to understand who these people were to me, what they meant, before I tell you how they destroyed everything. James and I met when I was 24, fresh out of graduate school, working my first real job as a marketing coordinator at a pharmaceutical company. He was 27, a sales rep for a medical device company, and he came into our office one day for a meeting with my boss. He had this smile, this confident, easy smile that made you feel like you were the only person in the room. We started talking in the elevator, started dating. 2 weeks later, we're engaged within a year. Married within 2, I thought I had won the lottery. James was charming, successful, ambitious. He wanted the same things. I wanted a house in the suburbs, kids, a dog. The whole American dream package. We had our daughter Emma when I was 27, our son Noah when I was 30. And for 12 years, we built this life, this beautiful, perfect life, or at least that's what I thought it was perfect. And Lisa, my baby. Sister Lisa was 7 years younger than me. She was 31, and she had always been the wild one, the fun one, the one who dated too many wrong guys and made questionable life choices. But I loved her fiercely, had protected her since we were kids. Our mother died when Lisa was only 15, and I was 22. And I had stepped into that maternal role, had helped raise her, had been there for every heartbreak, every crisis, every 3 a.m. phone call when some guy had treated her badly. Lisa. And James got along great, which I loved. I loved that my husband and my sister liked each other, that family dinners were easy and fun, that we could all vacation together. She was Emma and Noah's favorite aunt, the one who brought the best presents and played the wildest games. She came to our house at least twice a week for dinner. We talked on the phone almost every day. She was my best friend, my sister, my family. And now she was the blinking dot on the map, right next to my husband's Dottie. Sat there on the edge of my bed staring at that screen for probably 10 minutes, trying to come up with any rational explanation for why James would be at Lisa's house at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday night, when he had told me he was working late, maybe. Lisa was having some kind of emergency. Maybe her car broke down and James went to help her. Maybe there was a problem with her apartment and he went to fix something, except Lisa hadn't called me. Lisa hadn't mentioned any emergency, any problem with her car or her apartment. In fact, when I had texted her earlier that afternoon, asking if she wanted to come over for dinner on Friday, she had said, "Can't babe, got plans this weekend." Plans she hadn't elaborated on, plans I hadn't asked about. Because why would I? My sister had her own life, her own schedule. I didn't need to know every detail, except now I was wondering what those plans were. Wondering if James was part of those plans. Wondering how long this had been going on. And oh God, was this really happening? Was my husband really cheating on me with my own sister? I felt like I was going to throw up. I ran to the bathroom and dry heaved over the toilet, but nothing came up. Just this horrible, gut-wrenching feeling that my entire world was imploding. Emma was at soccer practice, Noah was at his friend Tyler's house, I was alone in this big, empty house with this terrible knowledge, and I didn't know what to do. I couldn't call James because what would I say? Hey honey, your iPad told me you're at my sister's house, want to explain that. He would just lie, would come up with some excuse, and I wouldn't know if it was true. I couldn't call Lisa for the same reason I needed to know the truth, but I needed to know it in a way that they couldn't lie their way out of. That's when I made the decision I was going to drive to Lisa's house. I was going to see for myself what was happening. I was going to catch them. Whatever they were doing, I grabbed my keys, my phone, I left James's iPad on the bed, still showing that damning blue dot, and I got in my car. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely get the key in the ignition. The drive to Lisa's apartment felt like it took both seconds and hours. My mind was racing through every interaction I had witnessed between James and Lisa over the past 12 years, trying to remember if there had been signs, if I had been blind, if I had missed something, had they touched too much, laughed too hard at each other's jokes, stayed up too late talking when Lisa visited, had there been looks, exchanged glances. I didn't catch secret moments I wasn't supposed to see. I thought about last Christmas when James had given Lisa an expensive necklace from both of us. He had said, but I hadn't known about it, hadn't picked it out, hadn't even seen it before he gave it to her, and Lisa had loved it, had thrown her arms around his neck and kissed his cheek, and I had thought nothing of it, because why would I? They were family. I thought about the text messages I had occasionally seen on James's phone over the years, from Lisa, just normal stuff, thanks for the advice, or you're the best brother-in-law ever, or can't wait for dinner Friday. Nothing suspicious. Nothing that raised any red flags, but now I wondered if there were other messages. Messages he had deleted. Messages I wasn't supposed to see. I thought about all the late nights James had been working lately, the Henderson project he kept mentioning. The big client he was trying to land, the promotion he was working toward. Had any of that been real? Or had he been with Lisa this whole time, making a fool of me and my own family? By the time I pulled up to Lisa's apartment complex, my heart was pounding, so hard I could hear it in my ears. The complex was nice, middle-tier garden-style apartments with exterior staircases. Lisa lived on the second floor in Unit 2B. I parked across the street, where I had a clear view of her apartment. And that's when I saw it, James's car, his silver Audi, parked right there in the visitor parking lot, not even trying to hide it, just sitting there bold as day, as if he had every right to be there. I sat in my car, staring at that Audi, feeling like I was in some kind of nightmare. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. James and Lisa, my husband and my sister, the two people I loved and trusted most in the world. They couldn't be doing this to me. I got out of my car and walked across the street. My legs felt like jelly, like they might give out at any moment. I climbed the exterior staircase to the second floor, my hand gripping the railing so hard my knuckles turned white. I reached Lisa's door, Unit 2B, with its cheerful welcome mat that I had bought her last year for her birthday, and I stood there listening. I could hear music playing inside, something soft and jazzy. Not Lisa's usual style. She liked pop, country, upbeat stuff, and I could hear voices, low murmuring voices that would occasionally break into laughter, intimate laughter, the kind of laughter that made my stomach turn. I raised my hand to knock, and then I hesitated. What was I doing? What was I about to walk into? Did I really want to see this? Did I really want to know? Or could I just go home, pretend I never saw that blue dot, pretend everything was fine, pretend my marriage and my family weren't falling apart? But I couldn't unknow what I knew. Couldn't unsee that location on the map. Couldn't unhear the sound of my husband's laughter coming from my sister's apartment, so I knocked 3 sharp raps that echoed in the evening air. The music stopped. The voices stopped. There was a moment of complete silence, and then I heard footsteps approaching. The door, who is it? Lisa called out, her voice bright and casual and completely unsuspecting. It's me, I said, and my voice sounded strange to my own ears, flat and cold. Monica. There was another pause, a longer one this time, and I could imagine what was happening on the other side of that door. The panic, The scrambling, the whispered, "What do we do?" Finally, the door opened, and there was Lisa, my baby sister, standing there in yoga pants and an oversized sweatshirt, her hair pulled back in. A messy bun, her face flushed, and her eyes wide with something that might have been fear or guilt or both. "Monica," she said, and she tried to smile, tried to act normal. "What are you doing here? I thought you were home with the kids." "Emma's at practice." "Noah's at Tyler's," I said, and I was amazed at how calm my voice sounded when inside I was screaming, "I came to talk to you about something important. Can I come in?" I could see her hesitating, see her trying to decide what to do, and that hesitation told me everything I needed to know. If James wasn't here, if there was nothing going on, she would have just let me in without question. "Actually, now's not really a great time," she said, and she stepped partially into the doorway, blocking my view of the interior. "I was just about to jump in the shower. Can we talk tomorrow?" "No," I said, and I pushed past her into the apartment. "We need to talk now." The apartment looked normal. Lisa's usual organized chaos, books and magazines scattered on the coffee table, a blanket thrown over the couch, a half-empty wine glass on the side table. But there were 2 wine glasses. I realized not one. And then I heard movement from the bedroom, and James walked out, froze when he saw me standing there in Lisa's living room. His face went completely white, and I watched in real time as he tried to come up with an explanation, tried to figure out what lie he could possibly tell that would make this okay. "Monica," he said, and his voice cracked. What are you doing here?" "That's funny," I said, and I could hear the hysteria creeping into my voice. "I was about to ask you the same thing. I thought you were working late on the Henderson project." James looked at Lisa. Lisa looked at James, and in that exchange of glances, I saw everything I needed to see. This wasn't new. This wasn't a one-time thing. This was practiced, choreographed. They had done this before, had lied to me before, had stood in rooms together and pretended everything was normal while carrying on behind my back. "Okay," I said, and I laughed. Except it wasn't really a laugh. It was this horrible, bitter sound. "Okay, someone needs to start talking. Right now. And I want the truth, all of it. How long has this been going on?" "Monica, please," Lisa started. But I cut her off. "Don't," I said, "don't you dare. Monica, please me. You're my sister, my baby sister. I raised you. I took care of you when Mom died. I was there for every boyfriend who broke your heart, every job you lost, every time you needed money or help or someone to talk to, and this is how you repay me by sleeping with my husband." "It's not like that," she said, and she had tears in her eyes, but I didn't care. "Then what is it like?" I demanded. "Explain it to me. Make it make sense." James stepped forward. "Monica, let's go home. Let's talk about this in private." "No," I said. "You don't get to decide where we talk about this. You don't get to control this situation anymore. You've been controlling the narrative this whole time, making me think you were working late, making me think you were this devoted husband and father when really you were here with my sister, doing God knows what." I turned to Lisa. "How long?" I asked again. "How long have you been sleeping with my husband?" She wouldn't look at me, wouldn't meet my eyes. 2 years, she whispered, and I actually staggered backward like I had been physically hit too. Years, 2 years of lies, 2 years of family dinners where they sat across from each other and smiled and acted normal. 2 years of holidays and birthdays and everyday moments where they knew and I didn't. 2 years, I repeated, and I could barely get the words out. "You've been having an affair with my husband for 2 years." "We didn't mean for it to happen," James said, and he had the audacity to sound apologetic, to sound like he was the victim in this. "We didn't plan it, it just... "What?" I snapped. "It just accidentally happened for 2 years. You just accidentally fell into bed together multiple times a week for 24 months. "We fell in love," Lisa said quietly, and those 4 words broke something inside me that I didn't Even no could break you fell in love. I said, you fell in love with my husband, with Emma and Noah's father, with the man I've been married to for 12 years. And you thought that was okay? You thought that was acceptable. I tried to stop it, she said, and now she was crying for real tears streaming down her face. I tried so many times, but I couldn't. I love him, Monica. I really love him. He's married, I screamed, and I didn't care anymore. Who heard me didn't care if the whole apartment complex heard. He's married to me. He has a family, he has children, and you're my sister. How could you do this? How could either of you do this to me? James ran his hand through his hair, a gesture I had seen him make 1,000 times when he was stressed or anxious. I didn't want to hurt you, he said. You didn't want to hurt me. I laughed that horrible, bitter laugh again. You've been screwing my sister for 2 years, but you didn't want to hurt me well. Congratulations, James, mission accomplished. What do you want me to say? He asked, and now he sounded defensive, angry. Do you want me to say I'm sorry? Because I am. I'm sorry, but I can't help how I feel. I love Lisa. I've loved her for a long time. And yes, we should have handled this differently. We should have told you, but what? I demanded. But you were hoping you could just keep living your perfect double life forever. Is that it keep me at home, taking care of your kids, doing your laundry, cooking your meals while you came here, and played house with my sister. It wasn't like that, Lisa said. Then tell me what it was like. I said, turning to her. Explain to me how this happened. Did he seduce you, or did you go after him? Did you plan this? Did you see my husband, my life, and decide you wanted it for yourself? Don't talk to her like that, James said, stepping between us, and that right there, that protective gesture toward my sister instead of me, told me everything I needed to know about where his loyalties really lay. You're defending her, I said incredulously. Right now, in this moment, you're defending her instead of me. I'm defending both of you, he said. This situation is complicated, Monica. You don't understand. Then make me understand, I said. Make me understand how my husband and my sister could betray me like this for 2 years and think they're the victims here. Lisa sat down on the couch, her face in her hands. It started at your birthday party, she said quietly. 2 years ago, remember? We all stayed late cleaning up, and you went to bed because you had that migraine, and James and I stayed up finishing the dishes. I remembered that night, vaguely remembered my head pounding, remembered James telling me to go lie down, that he would handle everything. We talked. Lisa continued, really talked for the first time without you there, and we realized we had so much in common, so many of the same thoughts and feelings, and I don't know. Something just clicked between us. So you kissed? Him, I said flatly. Not that night, she said. But a few days later he came by to drop off some mail that had been delivered to your house by mistake, and we talked some more, and then she trailed off. Then you kissed him. I finished. Yes, I turned. To James. And you let her? You're a married man with 2 kids, and you let my sister kiss you, and then what, you just kept coming back for more. I tried to stay away, he said. After that first kiss, I told Lisa it was a mistake, that it couldn't happen again, but then I couldn't stop thinking about her, and she couldn't stop thinking about me, and we started texting just as friends at first, but then it became more, and before we knew it. Before you knew it, you were having a full-blown affair. I said, do you have any idea how many times I defended you to people who said men in sales cheat all the time? I told them you would never, that you loved your family, that you were one of the good ones, and the whole time you were proving me wrong. You were being exactly the cliché I said you weren't. What about Emma and Noah? I said, my voice breaking. Did you think about them at all when you were doing this? Did you think about what it would do to them when they found out? They don't have to find out, James said quickly. We can keep this between us. We can figure something out. Figure something out, I repeated. What exactly do you want to figure out? Do you want to keep having your affair while staying married to me? Is that what you're suggesting? He didn't answer, just looked at the floor, and I knew that was exactly what he wanted. He wanted to have it. Both ways. Wanted his stable family life and his exciting affair. Wanted me at home and Lisa here, waiting for him. I want a divorce, I said, and saying it out loud made it real, made my voice shake. I want you out of my house. I want you away from my children until we figure out custody, and I never want to speak to you again. Lisa, you're dead to me, you understand. You're no longer my sister. Monica, please don't say that. Lisa begged. We're family. Family doesn't do this, I said. Family doesn't betray each other. Family doesn't lie and sneak around. Family doesn't sleep with their sister's husband. You stopped being my family the moment you kissed him. I turned and walked toward the door, but then I stopped and looked back at them, standing there together. James with his hand on Lisa's shoulder, a united front against me. I hope you're happy. I said, I hope whatever you have together is worth destroying. Two families worth explaining to Emma why her daddy doesn't live with us anymore. Worth explaining to Noah why Aunt Lisa doesn't come to dinner anymore. Worth living with the guilt of what you've done because you're going to have to live with it for the rest of your lives. I walked out and somehow made it down the stairs to my car. I sat there shaking, crying so hard I couldn't catch my breath. And then I called my best friend Diane. Di, I said when she answered, I need you, something's happened. Can you come over? I'm on my way, she said without hesitation. And that right there, that immediate response from a real friend made me cry even harder, because that's what Lisa should have been. That's what a sister should be. Diane was at my house within 20 minutes. She found me sitting on my bedroom floor, still in my coat, still shaking. What happened? She asked, sitting down next to me, and I told her everything, the iPad, the blue dot, driving to Lisa's apartment. Finding James there, the confession about the 2-year affair, all of it. And when I was done, Diane just held me while I cried. I'm so sorry, she kept saying, I'm so sorry. What am I going to tell the kids? I asked. How do I explain this to them? We'll figure it out, she said, one step at a time. Right now, you just need to get through tonight. James came home around midnight. I heard his car in the driveway, heard his key in the lock, heard him climbing the stairs to our bedroom where I was lying in bed, still dressed, staring at the ceiling. Monica, he said from the doorway, we need to talk. Get out, I said, without looking at him. Get your things and get out of this house. This is my house too. Not anymore, I said, sitting up. I called a lawyer. You're going to be served with divorce papers by the end of the week, and I'm going to make sure everyone knows what you did. I'm going to tell your boss, your colleagues, your parents. Everyone is going to know that you threw away your family for an affair with your wife's sister. You're being unreasonable, he said, and the fact that he thought I was being unreasonable made me want to scream, unreasonable. I said, you cheated on me with my sister for 2 years, and I'm being unreasonable. I didn't want you to find out like this. How did you want me to find out, James? Did you even plan to tell me? Or were you just going to keep lying forever? He didn't have an answer for that, just stood there looking pathetic. I'll pack a bag, he said finally. I'll stay at a hotel tonight and we can talk tomorrow when you've calmed down. I don't want to talk tomorrow, I said. I don't want to talk ever. I want you to communicate through lawyers from now on. The only thing we need to discuss is custody of the kids, and we can do that through our attorneys. You can't keep me from my children. I'm not keeping you from them, I said, but you're going to have to explain to them why you don't live here anymore. And you're going to have to do it without lying, because I'll tell them the truth if you don't. He left without another word, and I listened to him move around in the guest room, packing clothes, toiletries. And then I heard the front door close. Heard. His car start, heard him drive away, and I was alone in the house. I had thought was my happy home, the house where I had raised my children, believed in my marriage, trusted my family. And all of it had been a lie. The next few days were a blur of phone. Calls to lawyers, to my father who broke down crying when I told him what Lisa had done to family friends, who couldn't believe it, to the parents of Emma and Noah's friends explaining why James wouldn't be at pickup anymore. The hardest part was Telling the kids, I sat them down on the couch, Emma who's 11 and Noah who's 8, and I tried to find the right words to explain that their father and I were getting divorced. Is it because of Aunt Lisa? Emma asked, and my blood ran cold. What makes you ask that, sweetheart? Because I heard you and Dad fighting last night. You said her name a lot, and you sounded really angry. I took a deep breath. Yes, baby. It's partially because of Aunt Lisa. Your father and Aunt Lisa made some very bad choices that hurt our family. What kind of bad choices? Noah asked. Adult choices that you don't need to worry about right now, I said. But what you need to know is that Dad and I both love you very much, and that's never going to change. We're just not going to be married anymore. Is Aunt Lisa still going to come over? Emma asked, and I could hear the hope in her voice because she loved her aunt. Loved the fun, spontaneous woman who played games and told jokes. No, honey, Aunt Lisa isn't going to come over anymore. Why not? Because she's not going to be part of our family anymore. But she's your sister, Emma said, confused. She'll always be your sister. Not always, I said quietly. Sometimes people do things that are so hurtful that you can't forgive them, and you can't have them in your life anymore, even if they're family. Emma started crying. I don't understand why everyone is leaving. Why is our family falling apart? And I held her while she sobbed, and I hated James and Lisa more in that moment than I had ever hated anyone, because they had done this. They had broken my daughter's heart, had shattered her sense of security, had made her question whether the people she loved would stay. I'm not leaving, I promised. Her, I'm right here and I'm not going anywhere. You and Noah are my whole world, and nothing is going to change that. Lisa tried to call me 17 times over the next 2 days. I didn't answer. Finally, she showed up at my door. Monica, please, she said through the screen door. Please let me explain. Please let me apologize. There's nothing to explain, I said, and your apology means nothing to me. You made your choice, now you get to live with it. I'm your sister, she cried. You can't just cut me out of your life. Watch me, I said, and I closed the door in her face, locked it, and walked away while she pounded on the wood, begging me to let her in. Eventually she left, and I haven't seen her since. James's parents called me a week later. Monica, we're so sorry, his mother said. We had no idea. We're horrified by what he did. Thank you, I said. That means a lot. We want you to know that you and the kids are still our family, she continued. What James did doesn't change that we love you and we're here for you, whatever you need. It was a small comfort in the midst of all the pain, knowing that James's parents at least were on my side, were willing to maintain a relationship with their grandchildren and their daughter-in-law. Even after their son's betrayal, the divorce proceedings were ugly. James tried to claim that we should have joint custody, that he should get the house half the savings, that I was being vindictive by trying to punish him for falling in love. But my lawyer was better, and we had evidence text messages between James and Lisa that my lawyer subpoenaed hotel receipts, credit card statements showing purchases James had made for Lisa over the past 2 years, jewelry dinners, trips out of town, that he had explained away as work expenses. In the end, I got primary custody of the kids, the house, most of the savings, and a generous alimony and child support payment. James got visitation every other weekend, and he had to tell Emma and Noah the truth about why we were divorcing. Our lawyer insisted that the kids deserved to know and that James needed to take accountability for his actions. Watching him stumble through that conversation, watching him try to explain to his children that he had cheated on their mother with their aunt, and that's why he didn't live with them anymore, was one of the most painful things I've ever witnessed. Emma looked at him with such disappointment, such betrayal, that James actually started crying. Why? She asked. Why would you do that? Why would you hurt Mom like that? I made a terrible mistake, he said, and I'm so sorry. Sorry doesn't fix it, she said, and she got up and walked to her room and slammed the door. Noah just looked confused. Are you going to marry Aunt Lisa now? He asked innocently. I don't know, buddy. James said, "Maybe someday. I don't want a new mom." Noah said, and he started crying. "You're not getting a new mom," I said, pulling him into my lap. "Your dad and I aren't married anymore, but I'm still your mom, and that's never going to change." It's been 8 months since that night. 8 months since I saw that blue dot on James's iPad. 8 months since my marriage ended and my sister became a stranger. James did end up moving in with Lisa. They're living together in a new apartment across town. Apparently, her apartment held too many painful memories for them. The irony of them being concerned about painful memories when they created so much pain. For everyone else isn't lost on me. Emma refuses to see Lisa when she's at James's place. If Lisa is there, Emma stays home with me. Noah is more forgiving, more willing to accept this new reality. But even he asks sometimes, why did Aunt Lisa have to ruin everything? And I don't have a good answer for that, except to say that some people are selfish. Some people only think about what they want and not about who they hurt in the process. I'm in therapy now, working through the betrayal, the trust, issues, the anger. I'm learning to rebuild my sense of self, my understanding of who I am outside of being James's wife, outside of being Lisa's sister. The therapist says I'm making good progress, that I'm resilient, that I'm handling this better than most people would. I don't feel resilient. Most days I feel broken and sad and angry, but I'm here, I'm functioning, I'm taking care of my kids. And that's something my father has been amazing, checking in every day, offering to help with the kids, with the house, with whatever I need. "Your mother would be so proud of how you're handling this," he told me last week. And so disappointed in Lisa, that last part made me cry. Because it's true, Mom would have been devastated by what Lisa did, would have probably cut her off too. Diane has been my rock. She's been there for every crying session, every angry rant, every moment of self-doubt. "You're going to get through this," she tells me. "You're stronger than you know, and someday you're going to look back on this and realize it was the best thing that could have happened, because you deserve better than James, you always did." I'm not sure I believe that yet, but I'm trying. I've started taking a pottery class on Wednesday nights, started going to book club again, started saying yes to invitations I had been turning down for years because I thought I needed to be home with my family. Turned out my family was fine without me, was actually living a whole separate life that I knew nothing about. I ran into one of James's colleagues at the grocery store last month, and he looked uncomfortable when he saw me. "Monica, hi, how are you?" "I'm okay," I said. "How are you?" "Good, good." He paused. "Listen, I just want to say I'm really sorry about what happened with James. We all are." The whole office was shocked. "Thank you," I said. "That means a lot." "For what it's worth," he continued, "we all think he's an idiot. You were the best thing that ever happened to him, and he threw it away." I smiled. "I appreciate you saying that." And I meant it. These small kindnesses from unexpected places have helped more than people realize. I haven't spoken to Lisa at all in 8 months. She's tried reaching out through mutual friends, through our father, through Emma even. But I've made it clear that I have nothing to say to her. Some bridges once burned can't be rebuilt, and ours is ash. Our father has maintained a relationship with her, though he's careful not to mention her around me. "She's still my daughter," he said. When I asked him about it, "Just like you're still my daughter, I can love you both, even if you can't love each other anymore." I understand his position, even if it hurts. I wouldn't want him to have to choose between his children the way I've had to. Choose to cut one out of my life. Emma asked me last week if I would ever forgive Aunt Lisa. "I don't know, baby," I said honestly. "Right now, I'm still very hurt and very angry. Maybe someday that will change, but I can't promise anything." "Do you think Dad loves Aunt Lisa more than he loved you?" she asked, and my heart broke at the vulnerability in her voice. "I think your dad loves Aunt Lisa differently than he loved me," I said carefully. "Not more or less, just different." And sometimes people fall in love with someone new and they handle it badly. They hurt people they shouldn't hurt, and they make choices they shouldn't make. That's what happened here. It's not fair, Emma said. You're right. I agreed. It's not fair at all. I've been thinking a lot lately about trust, about how easy it is to give and how hard it is to rebuild once it's broken. I trusted James completely, never questioned his late nights, his business trips, his need for alone time. I trusted Lisa with everything. My secrets, my fears, my children. I brought these people into my innermost circle, and they used that access to betray me in the worst possible way. How do you come back from that? How do you ever trust anyone? Again, my therapist says that not everyone is like James and Lisa, that there are good people out there who won't betray you, who will value your trust and treat it with the respect it deserves. I want to believe that. But right now, in this moment, 8 months after my world fell apart, I'm not sure I do, but I'm trying, and that has to count for something. I'm trying to rebuild my life, to find joy again, to be the mother my children need, the friend my real friends deserve. I'm trying to forgive, not James and Lisa, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to do that, but myself, for not seeing the signs, for trusting too much, for being what they probably thought was naive. I'm trying to understand that what happened wasn't my fault, that I didn't cause this, that there was nothing I could have done differently to prevent it. James and Lisa made their choices. They chose each other over everything else, over family, over loyalty, over basic human decency. And that's on them, not on me, sometimes late at night when the kids are asleep and the house is quiet. I think about that moment when I saw James's blue dot on Lisa's address. I think about how in that split second, my entire understanding of my life changed. How everything I thought I knew became a question mark. How the people I trusted most became strangers, and I wonder if I'll ever feel truly safe again, if I'll ever be able to look at someone and believe completely in their goodness, in their honesty, in their love. I don't have the answer to that yet. Maybe I never will, but I'm here. I'm surviving. I'm putting one foot in front of the other and raising my kids and building a new life from the ashes of the old one. And maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all anyone can ask. Maybe that's what strength really looks like, not being unbreakable, but breaking and still choosing to get back up, still choosing to try, still choosing to believe that there's something better waiting on the other side of all this pain. James and Lisa invited us to their wedding last month. Yes, you read that right. They're getting married, and they had the audacity to send invitations to me and the kids. I laughed when I saw it, laughed until I cried at the sheer nerve of thinking I would come watch them celebrate the relationship that destroyed my family. I didn't respond, just threw the invitation in the trash. Emma saw it, though. "Are we going to go?" she asked. "No." I said, "We're not." "Good," she said. "I don't want to." Noah asked if he could go. He's still young enough to not fully understand the weight of what happened, still hopeful that somehow we can all be one big happy family again. "If you want to go, sweetheart, you can." I told him, "It's okay with me." In the end, he decided not to. Said it felt wrong to celebrate when I was still so sad, so they got married without us, without my blessing, without any acknowledgement that what they were building was constructed on the ruins of my life. And I heard later through mutual friends that it was a small ceremony, just immediate family and a few close friends, that Lisa wore a simple white dress, which felt particularly offensive, given the circumstances that they wrote their own vows, promising to love each other forever, as if promises meant anything coming from people who had broken so many already. I hope they're happy. I really do, because they paid a high price for that happiness. They lost me. They lost Emma and Noah's unconditional love. They lost the respect of most of their family and friends. They lost any claim to moral high ground or integrity. I hope when they look at each other, they see something worth all that loss, because from where I'm standing, it looks like they traded gold for bronze and convinced themselves they won. As for me, I'm still here, still healing, still growing. I went on my first date last month. Nothing serious, just coffee with a nice man who makes me laugh, who doesn't push for more than I'm ready to give it. Felt strange and terrifying and a little bit wonderful. To sit across from someone new to tell my story without shame. To be seen as something other than the woman whose husband left her for her sister. I don't know if it will go anywhere with this man, but the fact that I'm even open to the possibility feels like progress. Feels like maybe I'm not as broken as I thought. Maybe I can trust again. Someday, maybe I can love again. Maybe James and Lisa didn't actually ruin me for all future relationships. Maybe they just taught me what not to accept, what not to tolerate, what real betrayal looks like. So I can recognize real love when I finally find it. My name is Monica Richardson. I'm 38 years old, and my husband left me for my sister. But I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm still fighting for my kids, for my happiness, for my future, and that's something they can never take away from me, no matter what they did, no matter how much they hurt me. I survived, and I'll keep surviving, because that's what you do when life knocks you down. You get back up. You dust yourself off and you keep moving forward, even when every step feels impossible, even when you don't know where you're going, even when you're not sure you'll ever feel whole again. You keep going, because what other choices they're giving up isn't an option, not when you have 2 kids depending on. Did this story devastate you as much as it devastated me living through it? Have you ever discovered a betrayal from the 2 people you trusted most? Have you ever had that gut feeling that something was wrong with your partner's late nights, or your siblings' sudden distance but dismissed it because you trusted them? I need to hear your stories in the comments below. Your experiences might help someone else recognize the red flags before their family is destroyed like mine was. Were there signs you missed? Did technology expose the truth like that iPad did for me? Share your story, because someone out there might be sitting with that same sick feeling in their stomach right now, staring at a GPS location that doesn't make sense. And your comment could be the push they need to face the truth. And if this video opened your eyes or made you want to check your own partner's location right now, please hit that like button and subscribe to my channel for more real-life stories about betrayal, infidelity, and finding the strength to rebuild after your world falls apart. There's a whole playlist of family betrayal stories on my channel that will shock you. Click the video on your screen right now to hear about a mother whose son brought home his new fiancé, and it turned out to be her best friend from college who had disappeared 15 years ago. Yes, you heard that right. Her college best friend was engaged to her own son. Trust me, you won't believe how that one unfolds and the revenge she planned. See you in the comments, and remember, always trust your instincts over your trust in people, always verify when something feels off, and always protect your children and your peace at all costs. Because sometimes the greatest betrayal doesn't come from strangers or enemies. It comes from the sister who slept in your childhood bedroom and the husband who promised to love only you. Technology may have exposed my truth, but your intuition might be trying to tell you yours right now. Don't ignore it. Stay strong out there, everyone.